Hello students, welcome to English Classroom. I'm Dr. Suchitra Singh, Assistant Professor of English, VGDC, Vidyanagar. In today's class, we'll be dealing with auxiliary verbs for semester 1 as prescribed by Osmania University. Now before we can learn about it, just let us look at this picture. What do you see in this picture? We see that a person is with a newspaper. Now this picture, there is also something written that says, he read newspaper. Now there's something missing in this sentence. Though it has a subject, it has a verb, it has an object, it is not conveying the complete meaning, whether the action is taking place, whether the action is completed, or whether the action will take place, right? Something is missing over there. Now let us look at this picture. What do we see? We see that there are some people over here, right? They are watching television. They watching television. Now this sentence also seems incomplete. We do not know whether this action is over, whether it is right now taking place, right? So there is something missing over here. Now let us look at this pic. She cooking. Now here also we do not know whether the action is done or whether it will take place. So we need something else over here to complete the sentence, right? And that word which we insert to complete the sentence helps the sentence in giving a definite meaning, right? So those words are called as auxiliary verbs or helping verbs, right? Now, you have learned in your earlier classes, but now we will learn something more. So what is our objective? Is to identify action verbs and helping verbs. Describe how helping verbs change the meaning of main verbs. Identify some common auxiliary verbs, right? Explain the uses of auxiliary verbs. And then write sentences using different helping verbs that reflect these changes in the meaning, right? So our objective will be to learn what are auxiliary verbs, what are the different types of auxiliary verbs, and how and when and where we should use our different auxiliary verbs. Now let's start our class. First thing is that we all should know that auxiliary verbs are also known as helping verbs. Yes, what are they? They are also known as helping verbs. Now, what is the purpose of these auxiliary verbs or helping verbs? They express grammatical tense, aspects, mood, and voice, right? Auxiliary verbs support the main verb in the sentence. Auxiliary verbs support the main verb in the sentence. They give more meaning to the main verb. They help in recognizing the tenses, right? Now, these helping verbs are sometimes used to help the other verbs. That is the reason they are called as helping verbs. They also help in forming questions and negative sentences, right? So they express grammatical tense, aspect, mood, and voice. Not only that, we also know that these helping verbs, they have no meaning on their own, but They add meaning to the main verb when they are attached with the main verb, right? Next is that these auxiliary verbs are used with main verbs to make tenses and passive forms. They help in forming questions and negative sentences, right? And when we form negative sentences, right, sometimes we use contracted versions in informal situations too, right? So this is the purpose of auxiliary verbs. That is, they express grammatical tense, aspect, mood, and voice. They support the main verb. They give more meaning. They help in recognizing the tenses. They help us in making positive and negative sentences, right? They also are used with main verbs to make passive forms, right? So this is the purpose of auxiliary verbs. Now, we also should know that auxiliary verbs sometimes they act as main verbs. They can also function as main verbs. For example, she didn't do it. Didn't is the contracted form of negative sentence did not, right? And do here is our main verb. So sometimes our auxiliary verbs or helping verbs can function as main verbs. Helping verbs must always agree with the subject. Subject verb agreement should be there. For example, I am writing. They are leaving. He is eating. So our helping verb and the main verb, there should be subject verb agreement, right? So now we have learned what they are, what is their purpose. Let us see the different types of auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs are of two types. They are primary verbs and modal verbs, right? Now, the primary verbs are divided into three forms. One is be form, do form, and have form. So what we have learned that helping verbs are divided into two, that is primary verbs and modal verbs. Primary verbs is again divided into three forms, that is be form, do form, and have form. Now let us look at these three forms. How do they function? Starting with be form is a verb which indicates position. What is be form? Be form is a word that indicates position. There are 8 be forms. How many be forms are there? There are 8 be forms, and they are am, is, was, are, were, be, being, and be. Right? So what we have learned that helping verbs are of two types, primary verbs and modal verbs. Primary verbs are again divided into three types, that is be form, do form, and have form. Again, be form is when we talk about be form has 8 forms, and they are am, is, was, are, were, be, being, and been. For example, how do we use these in our sentences? For example, I am writing. Sita is cooking. Am is our be form verb, right? Is our be form verb. Children are eating. Be form verb, right? Or Radha was writing. They were sleeping. Past tense, right? Now note that am is used only with I, right? Am is used only with I. So what do we understand with this? That be form, we have 8 be forms, that is am, is, was, are, were, be, being, be, right? And how we use them? We use them in the sentences where we try to use these be forms. That is, I am writing, Sita is cooking, children are eating, he was sleeping, they were dancing, right? So in this way, we can use our be form verbs. Next, be form as an auxiliary verb is used in progressive sentences. The function of be form is that as an auxiliary verb, it is used in progressive sentences. For example, I am taking a bath. She is writing notes. They have been playing all night. So we have used our be form am, is, been, right? So what do we learn here? That be form as an auxiliary verb is used in progressive sentence where the action is going on, right? Be form is used in passive sentences also. For example, I was given a free meal. He was seen by fans at the airport. This song has been sung by all nations, right? So what do we learn that? We learn that be form is used in passive sentences too. So be form is of 8 forms, that is am, is, was, are, were, be, being, be, right? And be form is used as an auxiliary verb is used in progressive sentences like I am taking a bath, she is writing notes, they have been playing all night. It is also used in passive form where I will say I was given a free meal, he was seen by fans at the airport, and this song has been sung by all nations. So I think you're clear with be form. No doubts? So we'll proceed now to the next part. The next part is do form auxiliary verb. Now what is do form auxiliary verb? Do form is a verb which indicates performance. Be form indicates position and do form indicates performance, right? Now, there are 3 do forms again. Be forms are how many? 8 and do forms are 3. They are do, does, did. What are they? Do, does, did. Do form is used to form question tags and negative sentences. Right? They're also used to ask questions. So do form is a verb which indicates performance. There are 3 do forms, that is do, does and did. And do form is used to form question tags and negative sentences. For example, she does not play cricket, negative sentence. He did not play football. Questions. Does she play cricket? Did he play football? We can also use this in question terms. She does not play cricket. Does she? She does not play cricket. So question tag, does she? So in this way also we can use our do form auxiliary verb, right? Now, Next is the third one is have form. Have form is a verb which indicates possession. Now let us repeat. Be form indicates position. Do form indicates performance. And have form indicates possession. Now again, have form has three forms, that is have, had, and has. Now have forms are used in perfect tense, present or past. For example, we have been to Australia. I have seen an alien. He has lived in Delhi. Raj has finished his homework. I had lost my camera. She had cooked some food, right? Food. So in this way, we can use our tenses, right? Do forms where we use them in present perfect tense as well as past perfect tense, right? So be form, auxiliary verbs are having three forms, that is be form, do form, and have form. Be form has 8 forms, do form has 3 forms, have form has 3 forms. Be form indicates position, do form indicates performance, and have form indicates possession, right? Now, points to remember about auxiliary verbs. Remember, helping verbs is, was, am, has are called singular verbs, singular auxiliary verbs. For example, I'm a student. He was an actor. Sita is a teacher. Raj has a car. So, helping verbs is, was, am, has are called singular auxiliary verbs. Words like are, were, and have are called plural auxiliary verbs. Let us understand it with an example. Boys are playing in the ground. We are using are. They were dancing on the floor. Is it clear? So what is it that we have to remember? We have to remember that is, was, am, has are used as singulars. Are, were, and have are used as plurals. Now, you also remember that is, am, are, have, has are present tense verbs. What are they? They are present tense verbs. How we can use them in our sentences? Like, for example, my mother is a dentist. It has GPS navigation, right? How many days are there in a week? Next, words like was, were, had are past tense verbs, right? We use it in past tense sentences. For example, he was a teacher. He is no more a teacher now. They were playing. Now they are not playing. He has adopted a child. It's a past action, right? So remember that is, am, are, have, has is used as present tense verbs, and was, were, had are used as past tense verbs, right? So with this, we are clear with our auxiliary verbs. That is, there are 3 forms: be form, do form, and have form. Be form has 8 forms, do form has 3 forms, and have form has 3. Right? Now, let us go to the next part. What do you see on the screen? There are words like shall, must, could, might, will, ought to, may, would, should, can. What do these words suggest? They are a part of auxiliary helping verbs and they are called as modal verbs. Now, the earlier one, what we have learned are primary verbs, right? They are primary verbs and these are modal verbs. What are modal verbs? How we can function, where we can use these verbs, we will learn. So, modal auxiliary verbs talk about possibility, ability, obligation, permission, suggestion, request offer, and necessity, right? Modal verbs cannot function as main verbs. Now, the main difference between primary verbs and modal verbs is that modal verbs cannot function as main verbs, right? Now, what are the modal verbs? They are, as we have seen the pic just a little while ago, that they are can, could, will, would, shall, should, may, might, must, ought to, dare to, need to, used to. So these are all the modal verbs. Now let us see how they function. First, we will look at the modal verb can. How we can use this verb. Modal verb can is used to express ability, permission, request, offer, suggestion, and possibility. Example, I can drive the car. This is ability. Can I come inside? Permission. Can you wait for me? It's a request. You can share my lunch. Offer. We can go to the museum on Saturday. Suggestion. It can get very cold in the coming week. There's every possibility, right? So, modal verb can is used to express ability, permission, request, offer, suggestion, and possibility. Now, where should we use our modal auxiliary verb? Could. Now, modal verb could is used to express possibility. This also express possibility, but when you compare to can, it is less definite than can. For example, Bella could find a new job. There is a less definite possibility, right? You could do it. There is possibility, but not with complete authority that we are telling. If you tried hard, you could do it if you tried hard. Now, could is also the past form of can. It is used to talk about ability that existed in the past. I could run 5 miles an hour when I was young, but now I cannot, right? Raj could play football very well before the accident, right? So this is how we can use our help modal verb could, right? Where we are trying to talk about ability that existed in the past. Could is also used to ask polite questions. For example, could you please help me with my assignment? Could I have a look at your paper? So it can be used to ask polite questions. Is it clear? Then for permission also. Could I leave the room, please? Could I help you with your work? for request. So suggestions. I could help you to solve the problem. Suggestion, right? So this way we use our modal verb, that is could. Next is modal verb may. Modal verb may is used to express possibility, permission, and polite offer. Where do we use that? To express possibility, permission, and polite offer. Example, I may visit Hina today. Possibility. May I leave? Permission. May I help you? Polite offer. So we can use may to express possibility, permission, and polite offer. We use may when we are not sure about something in the present or future. When you're not very sure, then we use our modal verb may. Say, for example, Sheila may be coming to see us tomorrow. We are not very sure. She may be coming. In the present, how I can use? I got up late. I may be late for the meeting. I may or may not, but the possibility that is there because I got up late, I have very little time. There is every possibility that I might be late for the meeting, right? Next, where to use our modal verb might. Modal verb might is used when we are not sure about something in the present or future. For example, I might see you tomorrow, but I'm not sure, right? It might rain today, present. It might rain, but sometimes it may not rain also. So something that is, which we are not sure, when we are talking about that, we can use our modal verb might. We also use might as the past tense of request with me. What is it? We also use might as the past tense of request with me. He asked if he might borrow the car. He asked, which is over. May I borrow your car? So when you're reporting it back, he asked if he might borrow the car. They wanted to know if they might come later. Right? See how we are using this modal verb might. Now, modal verb might is also used as a very polite way of asking for permission. For example, might I ask your name? Might I just interrupt for a moment? Right? You can use it like this also. To be a little different, use it in the correct form, right? We also use might as the past form of may in the indirect report. For example, that may not be true, she said. And when I want to give in the indirect way, she said that it might not be true. So we use might as the past form of may in the indirect report. Now note that the grammatical distinction between the two words may and might is tense based. That is, may is used in the present tense and might is used in the past tense. This distinction you must remember, right? Next, modal verb must. When and where should we use our modal verb must? Modal verb must is used to express necessity, possibility, and advice. For example, I must visit the doctor. This is my necessity, right? You must have left your purse in the car. There is every possibility that I must have left my purse in the car. You must read the newspapers daily. It's an advice. So see how we can use our modal verb must to express necessity, possibility, and advice. Must is also used as a strong recommendation. How is it used? It is used as a strong recommendation. For example, we must maintain social distancing. Strong recommendations in present situation. We must try this dish. You will love it. You must try this dish. Strong recommendation, right? You must join this course. It is fetching. So very strongly we are recommending by using our modal verb must, right? Next, modal verb must is used to express obligation or duty. For example, we must follow the traffic rules. You must wear your seat belt while driving the car, right? This is where we use it as obligation or duty. Must is used to emphasize the necessity of something. We must wear our mask when we go out. We must wear our mask when we go out, emphasizing that. It is a necessity in today's times, right? You must give up smoking, emphasizing that because it's not good for health. You must drive carefully. It's emphasizing, it is the necessity to avoid accidents. You must drive carefully. So must is used to emphasize the necessity of something. Modal verb shall. Now we learn about modal verb shall, how we can use this verb. Modal verb shall is used to indicate future action. He shall complete his project next month. I shall be there by 8 a.m. So for future action we are using. We use shall in question tags also. For example, I'll phone you later. Shall I? So we can use it in question tags. Note that we use shall mostly with the subjects I and we. Remember this, right? Now, modal verb shall is also used to express offers, suggestions, and advice. For example, shall I carry your bag? Shall we watch a film tomorrow? What shall we do with this? Right? So we can use it to express offers, suggestions, and advice. Shall can be used with second and third person pronouns to express a command. Where we'll use with second and third person pronouns to express a command. For example, you shall not lie. He shall leave at once. So in this way, we can use for second and third person pronoun to express a command, right? Now, modal verb will. Where to use this verb? Now, will is used to express prediction and determination. For example, let us understand this with examples. In his hands, money will not last long. This is a prediction, right? They will do their best to win the match. This sentence tells about the determination, right? Now, will is also used with first person pronouns to express ideas such as promise, threat, or willingness. For example, I will try to attend the function. It's a promise. I will teach you a lesson. It's a threat. I will kill you. It's a threat. I will join you for dinner. It's a willingness. So, will is used with first person pronouns to express ideas such as promise, threat, or willingness, right? We use our modal verb will with second and third person pronouns to express simple futurity. For example, he will come home by evening. She will complete her homework. So simple futurity we are trying to express, right? Modal verbs are used to make predictions. For example, the world population will grow a lot in the next 50 years. We will have a vaccine by September 2020 for coronavirus. So we use will for future prediction, right? Where should we use our modal verbs? Should. Modal verb should is used to express obligation and advice. Sometimes for probability and expectations also we use. For example, you should complete the assignment by Thursday. Obligation. We should help the poor and needy. Advice. Right? A ticket to Paris should cost a lot. Expectation. Probability. It might cost a lot. We should be careful while crossing the road. It's an advice. We should all work for the common good. You should pay the fees in time. So in this way, we can use our modal verb should to express obligation, advice, or probability, right? Modal verb should is often used to express possibility or likelihood also. I should be able to finish this project in time. So, like, I'm likely to finish, or there is a possibility that I will finish this project in time. You should be able to beat him, right? So in this way, we can use our modal verb should to express possibility or likelihood. Then should expresses less possibility than shall. What is the difference between should and shall? Should expresses less possibility than shall. That is, I shall be able to meet Peter. I should be able to meet Peter. When I say I should be able to meet, there is less possibility. But I shall be able to meet, there is possibility. So this is the difference between shall and should. So with this, we have learned how to use our helping verbs, that are primary verbs and modal verbs. Now let us do some exercises to know if we have understood the usage of words. Now underline helping verbs and the corresponding main verbs in the sentences given below. Now take your pen and paper and do it, and then we'll verify it with answers. I could come along with you. In this, you should underline the main verb and helping verb. The visitor has been waiting for a long time. I have bought a new bag to replace the one that was lost. We hope you don't meet him. Right? Now let us check with the answers. I could come along with you. Could is our helping verb. Come is our main verb. The visitor has been waiting for a long time. Has been is our helping verb and waiting is our main verb. I have bought a new bag to replace the one that was lost. Now in this, we have two helping verbs and two main verbs. See here, have is helping verb, bought is main verb, and here was is helping verb and lost is main verb. We hope you don't meet him. Don't is helping verb and meet is main verb, right? Similarly, we have some more sentence. She wouldn't dare to do that. You must work hard every day. The clothes might look clean, but they aren't. Does the restaurant have a delivery service? It might have. Now, what is our answer for this? The answer is she wouldn't dare to do that. Wouldn't is helping verb, right? And do is main verb. You must work hard every day. Must is helping verb. Work is main verb. The clothes might look clean, but they aren't. Might is helping verb. Aren't is helping verb. And look is main verb. Does the restaurant have a delivery service? Does is helping verb. And have is main verb. Right? And here might is helping verb. And have is main verb. Right? Now, next is let us fill in the blanks with auxiliary verbs given in the bracket. Now, here are some sentences. Where dash your friends going yesterday? That car always been my favorite. Whom dash you meet this afternoon? My team dash yet lost a match. He dash going to be angry when he finds out. What is the right one? The answer is where were you going yesterday? Past form. That car has always been my favorite. Whom did you meet this afternoon? My team hasn't yet lost a match. He is going to be angry when he finds out. Right? Similarly, we have another 5 sentences. My aunt dash like driving. Gayatri dash enjoy the movie. I love the seaside, but I dash know how to swim. Where dash you see my phone? Rishat dash reached yet he is late as usual. Now what are our answers? My aunt doesn't like driving. Gayatri didn't enjoy the movie. I love the seaside, but I don't know how to swim. Where did you see the phone? Where did you see my phone? No, it is where did you see my phone, right? Rishat hasn't reached yet, right? Now, these are our answers. So with this, we have learned what are auxiliary verbs. There are 2 types, that is primary verbs and modal verbs. Primary verbs are again of 3 types, and then the modal verbs are the rest. So we have learned how to use these modal verbs. Now try to do the other exercises that are there behind the textbook. And if you have any doubts, we will check. I don't know if I have written this sentence wrong. This one but last sentence, let us check it, right? And if any doubts, you can ask in the groups. Stay safe. Use your masks when you go out and don't go out unnecessarily. Maintain distance. Till we meet again, goodbye. Thank you for listening to my class.